Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, I have another breakup story to share. And if you have a breakup story you want to share and get my take on, please send it in to writemac.com, W-R-I-T-E, it's writing, M-A-C.com. Send your story in, and I could read it and give my take just like this. And if you'd like to take it a step further, you could book a live coaching session. I use FaceTime, Skype, or Google Hangouts. If you like this video, throw it a like. If you don't like it, okay. Don't like it then. Put your comments down below. And if you'd like to subscribe, please hit that red button. And let's get into it. Hello, Mac. My boyfriend and I broke up 3 weeks ago. It was a long-distance relationship. I'm 21. He's 22 and just graduated college this week. So he just graduated college. So right off the bat, whenever you're in a relationship and you're in college, university, whatnot, right when someone graduates, things change. You got to get a job. Identities change with jobs. And people really want to know what their next step's going to be. And it's a finding place for people. And the reason a lot of people break up at the university level is because you're at a time in your life where you're like, is this the only person I'm ever going to be with? That's not personal. That's circumstance. You're also thinking about future, career, these types of things. So a lot of times this is timing and circumstances, not you as an individual doing something wrong. We were together for 8 months, and although it was difficult and we had our fights, we had our good times too. Well, if you're 21, 22 years old and you're at college, it should be rose petals and wine glasses most of the time. You shouldn't be fighting a lot. 8 months is pretty much the honeymoon phase. So if you're having a lot of problems in those first 8 months, that's not a good sign of things to come in my book. Prior to breaking up, we almost broke up a few weeks before that due to us being stressed from work and school. Well, you need to separate work, school, and your relationship and not let it overlap. So if you're you need to be communicating in a way where you're helping each other grow and helping each other with problems. And if someone in the relationship is having a lot of trouble at work, but they can't find a way to change jobs or change their routine or change their habits, a lot of times you have more power than you think. You just assume this is just happening to me, my life sucks. But a few small adjustments or coming to the realization of my job's the problem or I took the wrong major, and pivoting and doing something else can really make a difference. And sometimes when you're in a relationship and you're dealing with a problem, your partner can enable the problem because they come home, they get a vent, but they don't really make the problem go away. Okay, in this particular case, work and school can be a variety of things. At that time, he told me that he wasn't invested in us anymore. So that's a big statement to make. I told him that I was, and I still wanted to work on a relationship, and I had to convince him, but he agreed to stay together, and he even said the next day that he knew he was going to regret it if he let me go. Well, that's all good and fine. That's a big statement for him to make. Everything within your relationships is small moments. So in a moment, you could say, I want to break up, and then the next day you could say, I don't, and these things aren't as cemented as if they are in a marriage of 10 years with 2 kids. When you're in a relationship of 7, 8 months, these kinds of things fluctuate a little bit more, especially in your early 20s. That's not uncommon, and you deal with it as you go. Fast forward to 3 weeks after, we had a fight again due to my jealousy. So jealousy is an issue. You need to check that at the door. You need to know why you're jealous. Is that from a prior relationship? Is it just? Is it reasonable? And ask yourself, am I sorry for being jealous, or did he do something to make me jealous? You got to really unpack that. I felt like he didn't care enough at that point anymore. It was his midterms week and my finals week. So you're jealous of what would be my question. We did a live coaching. That's a big thing to unpack because jealousy will affect future relationships. And usually it's not, when someone considers themselves jealous of their partner, it's not just their partner. It's usually sometimes their friends too, usually sometimes past partners. So I told him that I was done. He asked me what I meant, and I called him and said that I think I was done. Well, you think and you're done are two different things. And he said, okay. So that right there, if he said okay, he didn't really put up a fight, and a lot of women in relation, he didn't fight for the relationship. At this point, 3 weeks earlier, you almost broke up. You're having stress with work and school. He's about to graduate. He might be okay with breaking up at this point, okay? I took it back immediately because that's not really what I wanted, but he didn't take it back. So I'm assuming and I could be wrong, and this happens a lot with men and women, not just from the women's end, that someone makes a comment hoping that the other person goes, no, don't break up with me, don't leave, and they overcompensate and they say sorry. But when someone goes, okay, you want to break up with me, the other person goes, oh, game over? What happened? Whenever you give an ultimatum or you make a statement like that, you need to be prepared to back it up, because then your word becomes nothing. We broke up that day. The next day I texted him, good luck on his exam, with a heart. He just replied, good luck on yours too. Okay. I texted him again a few hours after that, and he said I wanted to talk about us, and I even called him babe. He texted me back saying that I need to stop calling him babe. So he's already in a mode where he's ready to break up and move forward. I mean, he's broken up. We FaceTimed that same night. He ended things between us. Our original plan was that he was going to move up here in San Francisco from San Diego. Wow, I've lived in both places. I went to San Francisco State, and I went to Mesa College, which is in Diego. After he finishes his summer classes this September, lots of work in the Bay. But when we were breaking up over the phone, he said that he didn't want to move up here anymore. And I said okay to that, and I could be the one to do all the work and visit him instead. Okay, this is overcompensating. You've already, wanted to break up over jealousy, which is something, if we did a live coaching, we can unpack further, and something you really should, because at 21, if you're getting jealous in relationships, you don't want to run this pattern, because it'll lead to breakups. More breakups. The idea that he didn't want to move, he changed his plan, and now you're going, oh, that's okay, I'll do everything in advance. That's not leading to a healthy relationship. And if he accepts that, he's basically saying, okay, I'm in the driver's seat. I'm going to take advantage of this situation. It's going to be about me. I'm happy if it's all on my terms. And eventually you'll have contempt and you'll be angry about that. So agreeing to do that. Next point, which I hadn't read yet, he said it was unfair for me. Well, that's a good guy then. He's being honest, and he's saying that is unfair to you and you're making too much of an effort. And I think he's also saying at this point he is done. So ultimately, after lots of begging, we ended things over the phone that night. I sent him another text the next day about how I'm going to miss him and that breaking up was the right thing to do because things just haven't felt the same between us. I told him that I wanted to be the one for him and that although we both did what we could do, things just don't work out sometimes. Well, that's a good way to put it. I don't know if you're sincere in that because I think it sounds like you kind of want to get back together. I wished him well, and he immediately replied and said that the same thing. He said that he loved me so much and I deserve all the success and happiness in the world, and that he was sorry he wouldn't give each other that we couldn't give each other the happiness right now. After that day, I unfollowed him on social media. Good job. Outstanding move. And everywhere. It's been 3 weeks. I still miss him and I want him back, but I don't know what to do at this point or if there's even anything to do. Good question. Bottom line is stay in no contact. You said everything you needed to say. You left it on a good note. You showed him that you cared about him, that you still wanted to be together. He replied by he doesn't want to move and he doesn't want to be together at this point. If he wants to change his mind, he can find your phone number. He can find a way to get in contact with you. Otherwise, you need to keep moving forward. You're living in a different city. You're probably starting a career in somewhat. It's a great city to meet other people. You know that. Be excited about it and create some new goals in your life. I know that sounds simple and cliche, but find out what your purpose is outside of a relationship and wait about a month or whatever time you feel comfortable, and you should be able to start dating again. You're in your early 20s. Enjoy yourself. And at some point, if he calls you up, treat that in the moment. Don't bring up any old stuff. And if you guys can maybe see each other, it sounds like he doesn't want to move to where you're at. That's an 8-hour drive or 7-hour drive. I've done it before. About an hour and 20 minutes on the plane. So, that's quite easy, a little Southwest flight. But at this point, if you were going to revisit things, I think it would be ideal for him to be casual, not official. I think the way this is going, and he's saying that would be unfair to you. Translation, I don't want to be tied down. So at this point, the best thing you can do is move forward, get your head up high, get your future on deck, and start taking care of yourself, and other things will fall into line. You didn't do anything really wrong here. This is a relationship that had some holes in it, and the fact that you guys were already not getting along in 8 months and then you had the move. And like I said, if I did a live coaching, maybe 30-minute live coaching, if you really wanted to sew up some things on this, we really want to dive into this jealousy thing, because that's something you don't want to bubble up in future relationships. And this is actually a time for you to take some inventory of your role and responsibility, not in a way of guilt or shame or blaming yourself, but like, oh, wait a minute, am I fair? Was I fair in some of the ways I've acted? And that's not to get his praise or happiness, but to take inventory of who you are as an individual and what you want to improve. Okay, so I hope that helps you. Please visit writemac.com if you have a breakup story you want to share, or if you'd like to book a live coaching session. Thank you for supporting the channel.